Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy from Rocky Mountain Live. I am here today on our third edition of the Peak Performer Series with Marie Flipo-Bergeron from Jasper, Alberta. So thank you, Marie, for taking the time to do this interview and being a supporter of the new project right out of the gate. As I
Thank
said
you.
before we got on, everybody who supports right from the beginning will be friends of the platform for years to come. And I'm stoked to have you on board.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. You were actually one of the first people. You were the first person from Jasper and one of the first overall to upload a profile to the website when I started last month. So I really appreciate that. So we are Rocky Mountain Live, and we're all here because we love both music and the mountains. So tell us a bit about where you're from, how you made it to the mountains, and how the Rocky Mountains have helped shape you as both a person and performer since you arrived.
All right. Well, I'm originally from Montreal area in Quebec province, but I moved out west in 2006 in Jasper, but mainly because I was a tree planter for 5 summers. So going across Canada, and I've seen so many different beautiful little towns, and I've met so many people, but Jasper definitely had something attractive. So I decided to stay for a little longer after a summer job after tree planting here, and I never left. Meeting other musicians, I had a couple of bands with a bunch of girls that are still friends 18 years later, and we still play once in a while together, which is quite great. But yeah, Jasper has shaped me as a more confident musician with time. I was always, I'm not shy. I'm not shy at all. But on a stage, I was hesitant a little bit. And yeah, I had some really good friends that believed in me and just said, Marie, you should play more often and you should do this. And I started to listen to me and to them. And here I am.
Oh, that's amazing. Tree playing is definitely a way a lot of people get out west from out east. That's for
Yeah.
so you've been here a long time, obviously, but who are some of the local musicians, venues, and businesses that have had the biggest impact of your career growth since arriving until now?
Well, interesting enough, 7 years ago, a friend of mine who worked in a senior's home was looking for a music therapist because the person quit or had to leave. So she said, Marie, I think you would be perfect for this to start and to get your confidence. So I started to work at the senior's home, which I still do. Actually, I play there once a month or sometimes twice a month. And I do music therapy, music from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, which is amazing. And it did build my confidence. And then I started to play in different venues, like the Wilderness Kitchen, which was at Moline Canyon, Terra, which is an amazing restaurant in a hotel here on the main street. There was Elk Village as well that hired me quite often to play at Jasper House Bungalow. And the Legion, the Stand Easy, has lots of live music. So in summertime, I would play on the patio, the Olive Bistro as well. So all those amazing businesses would hire me sometimes for an evening, for a private event, or just for regular live music in summer and spring. So these are the ones that really believed in me and supported me to play more often. But local musicians in the area, we have a lot. Brian Lackey, Greg Deagle. We also have Matricia Bauer that does amazing music. And we have Travis Matthews that used to live here. And now he moved back in Edmonton area. But definitely inspiring to see how often they're playing and what kind of music they're playing, following their styles, but also catering to the event. So that's pretty much what I'm doing as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Jasper's got a really tight scene out there, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
speaking to the local businesses and musicians, obviously with the events of last summer with the tragic wildfires, a lot of locals and businesses were impacted. So can you tell
Yeah.
us a bit about your experience with that and how it has impacted the town?
Yeah, well, when we got evacuated, the fire had not reached yet the town but of Jasper. That was on July 22nd, but on July 24th, the fire started to reach the town, and some of our favorite venues have burned down, some of the hotels. Lots of people have lost their homes, and actually lots of musicians have left town as well. So they've lost their homes, they've lost their instruments, and when you have no work or no potential work to come in the future, it's really hard already as a part-time musician to make a life. So yeah, lots of them have started to go in different directions. We still have some amazing venues, some amazing restaurants, some hotels. So the town is open and ready, to welcome everyone. But it is true that, for the live music, we've lost a good part of our community right now. So I know that Jasper is a transient town, though, and we'll have lots of musicians that will come back or just end up arriving here and start to play music. So yeah, I'm pretty hopeful, but it is just different right now. Yeah, it is very inspiring as well. Looking at the fire, looking at what we're living, being away. I've written so many songs about the fire, and to be fair, not all of them are good, but there is some of them that are really good. And I've started to play one live a couple times, and I'm planning on recording that song that is called Wildfire. And I'm addressing this song as if Jasper was a woman. And yeah, she lost a part of her face and herself in this song. So yeah, maybe you'll hear it one day.
I'm sure I will. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get a lot of the musicians that left back. That's definitely something I wasn't even really considering there. Is like, yeah, as soon as those hit, there's no work for the musicians right away. So
Mhm.
once they open up and get everything back going, that those people can come back for sure. I'm gonna give a shout out to both the Dead Dog Grill and
Yeah.
Sukasa, as they've been very active with Rocky Mountain Live since we started. They both have a lot of good things that were going on for Jasper in January. And Dead Dog has a lot of good shows coming up this month with Civilian and Ski Tour doing some raves there. So speaking of Jasper in January, you had a few gigs at that the last few years. So tell us about that project.
Yeah, so Jasper in January is a festival that was created to bring some business in town after Christmas holidays. Usually it slows down everywhere, but the skiing is great and the hotels are there. So there's usually great deals for skiing, for hotels, and lots of activities to do in town as well. So usually it could be a dog sledding or horseback on Patricia and Pyramid Lake, which is just amazing, just living the outdoors to the fullest. But at night, we want people to go out and party a little bit. So there was different competitions, foods, competition, but also some live music in lots of different restaurants like Terra, where I often play, but also the Dead Dog was a big part of it, Sukaza as well. And Sukaza was the previous owner of Elk Village as well, which unfortunately burnt. But they have that other restaurant, Sukaza. So I give them a big shout out. They're doing a great business there, and they're hoping to have more live music there as well. So yeah, Jasper in January, quite busy, but bringing lots of business, to be alive and to be working towards bringing people together during a calmer time of business season.
Yeah, that's great. So it looked like they had a big success this year with Jasper in
Yeah.
January. I know Jasper Event Management also reached out and have been participating in the platform a bit as well. So that was great to see. So I know there was also some benefit concerts going on after the wildfires, and now they've had Jasper in January, and some venues are starting to bring back live music. So what
Yeah.
type of role do you think live music can play in helping revive Jasper and bring it back to where it was before the fires?
Well, music bring people together, it unites a community. And in the last 2 years, I've been the creator, the organizer of Sunday's Live Music in the Park in Jasper. So I bring local artists from Jasper or the area to play every Sunday night for an hour and a half to 2 hour concert. And I think this year, the Sunday's Live Music in the Park will be a huge hit, because that will be a great way for people to meet in that big commemoration park beside the activity center to bring their chairs, to bring their supper, or to go purchase supper somewhere and come and eat and enjoy live music, all together. It's really creating that bond that there is no separation, there is no judgments of any kind. Everybody's welcome. It's for the young at heart and the younger ones, and it's accessible to everyone, and it's free. So I think live music, if it is free or easy to access in a certain way, it brings people together. So Jasper needs that a lot right now. So I have a feeling this will be a great success this year.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people will want to hit up Jasper this summer just to support the town and
Yeah.
that. So that's good for you that you do that. In 2024, you had a lot going on. So tell us a bit about the release of your EP entitled The Mountains Are Sleeping Giants and opportunities that came to you last year with Jasper Folk Festival and other big shows you played.
Yeah, so I recorded an album with a local musician in town who unfortunately left since the fire, but his name is Adam Ambrosiak, and he's been part of the Sons and Daughter band here in Jasper that was quite popular, and he recorded me and added some electric guitar, some back vocals, and lots of different instruments. It took a long time. It took over 6 months to craft and create 5 songs. But we wanted to just release a little taste of what I do, because I mainly play as a solo artist, but also to kind of embellish, if you're listening to music, it's nice to have other instruments as well. So he added some really nice creative touch to my songs, but they're all my original songs. And that EP was released on June 15th of 2024. And since I've done lots of different events, some private events, also Parks Day. I was the main and only act on the stage of Parks Canada, which was fantastic. And I was supposed to play in the Jasper Folk Fest. I was on the list on the poster, and the headliner was Frazee Ford, which is a big inspiration. And she's such a fantastic Canadian musician. And I was so excited to play on the same lineup as her, but with the fire, unfortunately, the festival was canceled. That being said, they reached out to most of the musicians on that poster, and most likely, lots of us will be back for this edition in 2025. So I think it's just a second chance, to be on that poster. We don't know which artists will be there confirmed as headliners, but I know that I will be there this year again.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I'm sure they'll bring you back for sure. I hope that's a successful festival this year. So your musical style is very folk-based and would fit in well at a folk festival. And you have a lot of original songs and a large catalog of covers that you do in your own style, as well as covering classic English songs in French. So tell us about some of the biggest musical influence that you have that have contributed to your style.
Well, it's strange because I often don't refer to a genre of music because I don't really know what kind of music I make. But whenever I speak to other musicians, they often say it's bluesy, folky, sometimes on the edge of rock. And I really don't even focus on a style. I just focus on that song that comes to me or that riff that I just find on the guitar. But for influences, I grew up listening to Led Zeppelin, obviously Pink Floyd, Janis Joplin, Nina Simone, Joe Cocker. So, all those rocky, raspy voice. I always love Louis Armstrong, how he makes me cry, with all his songs and his versions. So it's definitely eclectic, but I also grew up with French music and lots of English artists I didn't know until I was an adult or even later, my mid 30s. And it's very strange how now I'm discovering some artists that I'm thinking, yes, I kind of like the sound of this, and suddenly I'm inspired right away. But I grew up on French music and not so much English music. So that's why I write in French and in English. Sometimes I write a bilingual songs. There's going to be both languages in it. and it comes naturally to sing a song, sometimes in English, and I find that French twist to it. So I translated a song from Alana Miles, Black Velvet, and that's one of my favorite songs. And I actually love my French version of it because I went and studied how this song was written. It was written about Elvis Presley, and about the love of his fans, and how he was actually the shy guy, that became more confident with time, but not necessarily for the right reasons. And it's very interesting how when you start to learn about how a song was written, you can put yourself in it and start to find the appropriate words and the intonations. And I love to do that, but I don't really know what style I'm singing still to today. So
Yeah, that's fair. I think that the world of music is more genre blending than ever. I personally listen to
yeah.
a lot of genre blending music. And it's funny that you mentioned your first two influences being Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, because I have a Led Zeppelin tattoo on one leg and a Pink Floyd tattoo on the other. So,
Yeah, I love that.
uh, okay, so we just talked a lot about your style. Obviously, we're here because we are Rocky Mountain Live and we love live music. So, what do you love most about performing live shows?
I love to tell my story and to connect with people in the crowd. Even when I play in a restaurant, which I should just be the background music, I often start to interact with people and I take requests. And then when people come and see me and I have their song or I have their favorite artist and I can play them a song, and then they just feel, wow, this song is for me. The connection is so powerful. And usually by the end of a show, if it's an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, I usually know everyone in the crowd, and then we're laughing together, and it's a chic restaurant, but no, we're all talking, and it's just so fun. So I think that's what I love the most about live performance, is connecting with the people in the crowd and reading the faces and reading it. Is that style okay? I think everybody likes that style. I feel that style too tonight. Let's just go with this. So yeah, reading the crowd and giving them everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, but speaking of live music, who are some of the top musicians or bands that you dream of sharing the stage with?
There's so many, but most of those women are dead. So I would love to, but yeah, Janis Joplin and Nina Simone are two big artists, powerful voices that I would love. But anyone from Beth Hart, like she is so powerful, and Susan Tedeschi, like to just think, like she could play the guitar while we sing together. But those are dreams, obviously.
Okay, so those are big dreams you have, obviously, but that's
I
what
know.
we're for. So what are some of the Rocky Mountain musicians that you want to give shout outs to for their work in the local scene and that you'd love to see covered by Rocky Mountain Live?
Oh, well, you know what? Travis Matthews is always such a great guy and great character, but his shows, he give his heart out every time he plays. And he lived in Jasper, but he's in Edmonton, and he travels and plays here and there. But I would love to give him a shout out. Like, he's a great inspiration, and I love his voice. He's fantastic. There's also Jessica Heine, that is so amazing. And I've met her when I first moved here 18, 17 years ago. And her voice is so fantastic, but her words, the way she writes, is absolutely spectacular. And we brought her in at Sunday's Live Music in the Park last summer, and she was absolutely incredible. So those two solo artists, I definitely want to give them a big shout out. And for a bit more local, we have Greg Deagle here that is absolutely amazing. He sounds like a poetic Leonard Cohen, a little bit of different mixtures of amazing singer songwriter. So yeah, he brings that beautiful vibe. I would love to see him on your platform as well.
That's awesome. I hope we can get all of them on the site pretty soon, actually. So, what's on the horizon for Music by Marie in 2025? What have you not planned out yet, but hope to accomplish in the future of your musical career?
Well, I would love to record an actual album, so not just an EP, but an actual album that would be bilingual as well. So if it's not for this year, I'm thinking next year. I'm going to start the process, but I think I am starting to have enough material to start because it takes such a long time to record anyway. The other thing, I would love to do more festivals outside of Jasper. So I was invited at the Deep Freeze Festival in Edmonton, which was absolutely fantastic. And I played in a little cafe called the Carrot Cafe and a nice art gallery as well. So I really enjoyed that. And yeah, in the last year, I was so lucky to be invited in different areas, but I would love to do that a bit more through music festivals in summertime. But for what's coming up next, I am playing at Sunridge, the ski resort, on February 28th. So I'm a ski instructor in daytime, but in nighttime, I become a musician. And interesting enough, I'll be doing both on that day. So I'll be teaching a session to the skiers there in the daytime, and then I'll be playing live music on their Friday night there. And after that, I'm going on tour across Alberta. I'll be playing Lethbridge on March 5th in one of the microbrewery there. And I'll be playing in Peace River, Rivière-la-Paix in March 14th. And I'll be playing in Fort Mac in March 20th. And that's all through the RAFA, which is a French group association for Francophone artists across Alberta. And they've hired me to go through different communities that has lots of French speakers. So I will do some bilingual songs, obviously, but there will be definitely some French content. But whoever comes to my show, you know, that it's French or English, it doesn't matter because music kind of speaks just its own language. People usually have so much fun. And yeah, I have lots of Anglophones that actually come and see me and they say, wow, that French song was so good. Didn't understand the words, but I got the vibe, and that's the important part. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Music is its own language. I love
Yeah.
personally different Spanish music as well, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been pretty great with your time here tonight. So we're going to start to wrap things up. I appreciate your time and that you got your Rocky Mountain profile in right away. So I want to know, why did you do that? Why exactly do you think that Rocky Mountain Live is an important project and other musicians, bands, venues, and music resource businesses should participate by uploading profiles and listing their events?
Well, we live in a time that it's really hard to find events. Sometimes we learn about it a couple days later, and then we kind of miss out. So if there is a platform that regroups everything, you know, that is happening in one area or, you know, in the mountains, and we could just go to that site and see all the upcoming events, it's just building that community, right? It's making it easier. But also, I'm really not good with social media. So when I found this platform, I thought, oh, that is such a good way to promote myself or promote some shows that I'm doing and to maybe reach more people than me on my Facebook account. I don't have TikTok. I have Instagram, but I also rarely go, rarely post. So I should be better on that. But when I saw your platform, I thought, this is such a great opportunity for any artist, any venue to promote an event and to get more reach. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like it's great because it's more than just an event listing thing. It's like you can see your profile and everything, right? So you
Yeah.
actually learn everything about the local scene and the people who
Yeah.
travel through, and it like logs everything historically so you can see how active they are as well. So that's
Yeah.
why it's a little bit elevated from anything else that you ever see out there. So you spoke about your social media here. So we're about to wrap things up. Why don't you tell everybody where to find you?
Well, I'm on all platforms for music downloads or listening platforms. So Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, you can find me everywhere. I'm even on SoundCloud. So for my music, my EP that is called The Mountains Are Sleeping Giants. And for communicating with me or following me, you can find me on Facebook under my full name, Marie Flipo-Bergeron, or Music by Marie. And on Instagram, you can find me as well, Marie Flipo-Bergeron. And usually I try to put a couple of videos there and all my posters if I have an upcoming show or a couple of updates on what's coming up next.
All right, that's awesome. Well, thank you for your time. As I said in the beginning, you were one of the first people to upload your profile, and you're going to be a friend of the platform for years to come. And I can't wait to catch a Music by Marie show.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one.